You were never meant to forget who you are. But from the very first moment you opened your eyes to this world, something began pulling you away from your truth. You've never heard what I'm about to share, and that's not an accident. There's a technique, ancient, forbidden, not because it's dangerous in itself, but because it works. And those in power have always feared what it unlocks. Because once a person remembers who they really are, they can't be manipulated. They don't operate from fear or guilt. They stop chasing approval. They live freely. And that kind of freedom, it terrifies the system. But now it's time. In the next few minutes, something old and powerful will stir inside you. You'll begin to remember. But you need to stay with me. Don't skip ahead. Because this isn't entertainment, it's an initiation. And if you miss even one piece, you could spend the rest of your life asleep, never knowing what was calling you all along. Let's begin. A voice beneath the noise. The truth of who you are isn't hidden in a faraway place. It's buried under noise, the endless chatter of your mind, the conditioning of your upbringing, the distractions of the modern world. And beneath it all, something quiet waits. A voice. Not the voice you speak with, but the one you feel. When you study ancient civilizations, Egypt, India, Greece, a strange pattern emerges. These cultures were separated by oceans by centuries. They didn't share books or broadcasts, and yet they all describe the same problem. We have forgotten. Egypt, the soul's descent. In ancient Egypt, the mystery schools taught that we didn't fall physically, we fell vibrationally, that at the moment of birth, the soul dimmed like pure light wrapped in heavy cloth. Thoth, the guardian of these truths, taught that this wasn't a punishment, it was a challenge. To awaken inside the dream, to remember who we are while still inside the illusion. And that's the hardest part, because we didn't forget everything. We remember just enough to feel like something is missing, an echo, a haunting, a feeling that life is more than what we're told. India, nothing to learn, only to remember. In India, the ancient rishis had a different word for this forgetting samsara. They didn't believe the soul was broken or incomplete. They said the truth is already within us. We don't need to chase it. We need to remember it. And remembering, they said, doesn't come through books or debate. It comes through silence, through vibration, through surrender. The real knowledge doesn't enter through the eyes. It rises from within when the noise fades. Greece, dying before you die. The Orphics in Greece had a powerful way of saying it. The soul is a prisoner of the body, but not in a hopeless way, in an invitational way. They believed life itself was the ritual, that the body was not the enemy, but the testing ground. Through chants, breathwork, and altered states, they aimed to experience a symbolic death, not of the body, but of the illusion. To dissolve the ego while still breathing, to touch truth and survive it. Few ever did. A wisdom with no owner. These traditions didn't copy each other. They arrived at the same truth in different ways, not through knowledge but through experience. And curiously, you won't find their teachings laid out step by step in a book. You had to seek them. You had to be ready, because this path, it's not for collecting knowledge. It's for facing yourself. Why they hid the technique? The secret wasn't hidden to keep people out. It was protected because it had to be. Because the greatest danger isn't the ritual. It's what happens when someone who isn't ready remembers too soon. Once you remember, everything you built around the lie begins to collapse. The stories you were told, the masks you wear, the safety nets of identity, they fall apart. And that can be terrifying. Dying without dying. When someone entered an ancient temple, they weren't signing up for a ceremony. They were stepping into a symbolic death. They were about to see what lies beyond the veil of this world. Inside those chambers, dark, quiet, sacred initiates were guided into deep rest. So deep their consciousness separated from the body. And in that space, they didn't hear words. They saw symbols. They felt vibrations. Not new knowledge, old truth, resurfacing. They weren't being taught who they are. They were remembering who they've always been. The ego doesn't let go easily. And this wasn't always beautiful, because the ego doesn't like to be dethroned. Some who crossed the veil never came back the same. Some couldn't handle what they saw. Some resisted. Some got stuck. Because when you realize that the you've always identified with was never really you, there's a grief in letting it go. It's not the body that's dying. It's the character, the role, the mask. Initiation is not about becoming more. And here's something you won't hear in modern spiritual circles. Real awakening doesn't make you feel more powerful. It makes you feel more real. Not bigger, just more you. No more pretending, no more posturing, just truth. There's a sound inside you that can't be spoken, only felt. And when this part of you starts to awaken, something changes. Not just how you think, but how you perceive. It's like a veil drops, not from your eyes, but from your awareness. But the strange thing is, it's not even your physical eyes that see it. Thoth called this kind of seeing the single eye, not your left or right eye, not your thoughts, not your emotions. It's something deeper, something that knows without needing to think, that sees without needing to look. It's raw, silent, unfiltered. And once you access it, it becomes more real than anything words could describe. This kind of perception has always been with you, but it's been drowned out by noise, by mental chatter, by the endless opinions and expectations of other people. Since you were a child, you were taught to analyze everything, to label, compare, measure, judge. But the truth, it doesn't arrive through analysis. It arrives through presence. The single eye doesn't judge. It doesn't label things as good or bad, right or wrong. It simply sees. And because of that, it connects you to a layer of life that most people have forgotten even exists, a layer where everything is already whole, already complete. The power of conscious silence. You don't need 10 years of study or a monastery in the mountains to feel this. Thoth said the doorway is simple. All it takes is one moment of real silence. Not silence where you wait for something magical to happen, but silence where you're not waiting for anything at all. A pure space, no force, no agenda. Let's try this right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and for the next 10 seconds, do nothing. Not even meditation. Just be. No goals, no expectations, no thoughts to chase. Pause for silence. Now open your eyes. Maybe you felt something, maybe you didn't. But something real did happen, whether you noticed it or not. You made space, even if just for a moment. And in that space, the mind didn't dominate. The ego wasn't in charge. You allowed something deeper to stir quietly. That's where the single eye begins to open. Not through books, not through lectures, but through conscious silence, through presence. And the more you practice this, the more you begin to realize life has layers. You've only been seeing the surface, the invisible name of the soul. But even this awakened perception isn't the final step. It's powerful, yes, but there's something more. Thoth said that beneath even pure perception lies the true frequency of the soul, a vibration that's so intimate, so ancient, so yours. It's never been spoken aloud. He called it the invisible name, not a name like Sarah or Michael, not a mantra you memorize. This is a frequency, a soundless resonance that echoes through your entire being when you are truly aligned. You can't hear it with your ears. You feel it in your spiritual heart. You felt it before you just didn't know its name. Even if you don't know what this frequency is, you've already touched it briefly. Think of those rare moments when everything just clicked. Not because of some external success, but because you felt a stillness, a peace that didn't come from logic, or when a powerful intuition arrived out of nowhere. You didn't think it, you just knew. Those were echoes, fleeting whispers of your invisible name coming to the surface. It doesn't use words, it just is, and this name. It can't be given to you by a teacher. No one can hand it to you, because it's not knowledge. It's not a title. It's a state of being. The more you try to describe it, the more it slips away, because this name doesn't belong to the mind. It belongs to your essence. Thoth said, this vibration is your true center. It's the moment when you stop being a collection of thoughts, fears, and achievements, and you simply become pure presence. Not someone with a role to play, not someone with something to prove, just you. And when this resonance becomes clear, something powerful awakens. A calm certainty, not arrogance, not spiritual ego, but a deep, unshakable peace. The kind that makes you quietly say, I know who I am. I don't need anyone to tell me. But be warned, this light reveals everything. And here's the part no one talks about. When this light turns on inside you, it doesn't just illuminate what's beautiful. It also reveals what's been hiding. Old wounds, buried fears, parts of yourself you shoved into the dark just to survive. Because real light doesn't choose what to show, it shows everything. And yes, it's uncomfortable at first. Because remembering who you are also means remembering who tried to hide it. All the masks you wore, all the stories you believed, all the lies you told yourself to stay safe. The pain that frees you. This is where most people turn back. Because it's painful to see clearly. But Thoth was clear. Pain only persists when you resist it. When you face what rises, when you allow what surfaces to be seen, it doesn't destroy you, it frees you. This is what he called the purification of the soul. Not punishment, not judgment, but a natural process. Like clean water washing away years of dust. As you start to remember, something shifts. You begin to feel lighter, like a weight you didn't even realize you were carrying has started to lift. But this is also when the real challenge begins. Because remembering who you are is only the beginning. The bigger question is, can you live from that place? Because even after you've glimpsed the truth, even after you've felt the silent vibration of your soul, the mind will try to pull you back. It will say that was just a feeling. It wasn't real. You're still the same. And if you believe that you fall back into the illusion, that's why Thoth warned. The soul does not want to sleep again. Once awakened, it wants to live. The waking trance consciousness in motion. When the soul takes the lead, your whole relationship with life changes. You're no longer trapped inside your thoughts. You're no longer reacting from fear or old programming. Instead, you begin to move from what Thoth called the waking trance. It's a state where you're fully present but not overwhelmed. You're here, but also watching from a higher place. It's like standing in the eye of a storm. The chaos swirls around you, but inside stillness. Time slows, decisions become clear. Emotions don't hijack you, they pass through you. You feel everything, but nothing controls you. You've entered a deeper layer of life, not through effort or trying to be spiritual, but through simply being. Living awake in a sleeping world. But here's the real test. Can you live awake while the world still sleeps? It's one thing to feel peace in solitude, but what about in traffic, in stress, in conflict? Thoth said, the true alchemist does not isolate, he walks among the crowd, but his vibration does not blend with the noise. He doesn't escape daily life, he transforms it through his presence. 3 simple practices to stay awake. So how do you stay awake? Not through complexity, but through 3 simple habits. 1. Active silence, not silence by avoiding life, but silence within life. You could be grocery shopping or replying to emails and still have a part of you watching. Calm, present, unmoved. You're not running away, you're rooted. 2. Conscious choice. Most people live on autopilot, reacting, repeating. But the vibrational alchemist chooses. He chooses what he thinks, what he consumes, what energy he puts into the world. You don't just scroll, speak, or act blindly, you live with intention. 3. Mind vigilance. Your mind is a garden. What you feed it grows. If you let in chaos, fear, gossip, and endless stimulation, that becomes your internal reality. Thoth taught, filter what enters, not to avoid the world, but to shape the vibration you hold. Because the world doesn't determine your peace, you do. When remembering becomes a way of life, and when these practices become natural, the remembering no longer fades. It becomes your new normal. Not a moment of spiritual high, but a quiet, steady flame that never goes out. The soul stops visiting, it becomes home. The return to the source. This is what Thoth called the return to the source. Not a place, but a state. A return to what you always were before the world told you who to be. And in that place, you realize something beautiful. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You are already everything you were seeking. The end of seeking, the beginning of living. You stop chasing. You stop begging for love. You stop searching for meaning in things that never satisfied you. Because now you know everything you were looking for was already inside you. If you've made it here, it's because something inside you has already begun to awaken. So I ask you, leave a comment below with the words, I remembered who I am. Not just as a sentence, but as a signal to the others out there who are waking up too. A reminder that none of us are truly alone in this remembering. And if you want to support this journey and help bring more content like this into the world, check the pinned comment below. There's a link where you can support this mission. Thank you for listening, but more importantly, thank you for remembering. And don't go yet, I've chosen a powerful next step for you. Click the video that's appearing on your screen right now. It's waiting for you. I'll meet you there.